Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously wherever you are in the world. So, 3, 2, 1. Good, 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 good vibrations. There we go, my delicious little babies. Good vibrations. Now then, you may want to listen to our lovely, with anybody not in that way, not in that way. Our lovely Mark Devlin. Something's just, got me just to say that, okay? He's on YouTube, my delicious little babies, Mark Devlin, okay? Is he up to about 10 point something thousand? I can't remember now. I need to have a look at one of his latest videos. Anyway, he's really good, he is, okay? My delicious little babies. Now then, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? Well, it's about 1 minute past 3, my delicious little babies. There's very little blue sky, a lot of grey and not so nice white fluffy clouds. It was, I say, a little bit cooler than it has been, my delicious little babies. And, it's pretty warm. Okay, my delicious little babies, but ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Doom, doom, doom. Okay, my delicious little babies, no sunshine. Okay, so that's the weather forecast in my neck of the woods in old Brummyland, my delicious babies in old England, okay? But I hope that wherever you are in the world, that life is treating you most deliciously. And you're having super duper and delicious and beautiful weather, my delicious babies now then. So something else I want to say before I continue. Well, it looks like the spas have gone. Okay, my delicious little babies, so all has gone quiet, okay? It's so peaceful until doo-doo. Okay, my delicious little babies, now then. So, so that's what I want to say for now. So anyway, so you can see that I'm much more chilled out, because when the spas are around my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? It just does me boxing, you know what I mean? So when it's all nice and quiet, they're probably having, there we are, take a Kit Kat, have a break. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies now then. So I've got a couple of bits of information, and something which really makes my heart sing is that it appears to myself, my delicious little babies, that there are a lot more than one could ever wish to know, okay, or realise. Who are, let's just say they are manning up. So I'm not saying anything, my delicious little babies, to incite anything, because I'd never do that, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? All I do is just give out information. That is all, there we are, that I do. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? We leave it in the hands of our, there we are, of our creator. Okay, my delicious little babies, because I believe in creator, just like I believe, there we are, in my own dear giddy God within, because when you leave home at 15, nobody holds your hand, so all the praying in the world does not do a damn thing, you know what I mean? It's what's called, there we are, fending for yourself and needing, there we are, to look after your damn self, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? So I'm not on the defensive, not at all. There we are. I'm just pointing things out now. Do you see what I mean? There we are, my delicious little babies. Do you see? Okay. And I'm still here to tell the tale. Okay, my delicious little babies. And I have had a colourful laugh. There we are, my delicious little babies. You know, not in that way, not in that way. You know what I mean? But I've had a colourful laugh. You see what I mean? So you see a lot and you hear a lot. There we are. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? And here, the sun's out, the sun has got his hat on, hip, 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 hooray. Okay, my delicious little babies, so, so that's what I have to say, my delicious little babies. You see, this is what I'm talking about. We're seeing a lot of videos, you know. Please do not get me wrong. If somebody feels the need, that they feel that they need God, Me personally, there we are. I believe in me and dear. There we are, giddy God within. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay, because you have to. How can I put it? You have to. There we are. Push yourself. Okay, my delicious little babies. I'm pretty sure I said it on one of my earlier videos, not long after I first started on YouTube. My delicious little babies. When I was around, how old was I? I've got to be about 8 or 9 years of age, my delicious little babies, okay? And by the way, that's not coding, okay? Because as we know, with the ones in the world, they like words and numbers, okay? So sometimes it could be 17. Oh, stumbled there a bit, my delicious little babies. Sometimes it can be 9, sometimes it can be 18, sometimes it can be 7. Very occasionally, there we are. Very occasionally, is it a 7? Okay, my delicious babies, they don't like you to have number 8. Okay, that is there we are. Not to be there we are in our vocabulary, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Okay, but they like the number 3. Well, I was born on a number 3, my delicious little babies. I've got a lot of 3s in my birthday, actually, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Okay. However, my life number is number 5. Mumble number 5. Do you remember that song, my delicious little babies? How does it go now? I've got the CD somewhere. A little bit of Monica in my life, a little bit of Erica by my side. What is it? A little bit of Tina's all I, what is it? A little bit of Tina's all I see. What is it? A little bit of Sandra in the sun, a little bit of Mary all night long, a little bit of, what is it? Jessica, here I am. A little bit of you makes me your man. number 5. Okay, my delicious little babies. I don't know. I think I probably no. I definitely knew that there was a Tina in there. Okay, my delicious little babies. You're simply the best. Do better than all the rest. Yeah, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean. Anyway. But yeah, getting back to this now, matter in hand. So it seems to myself, my delicious little babies, okay, I got my singing voice on today. Have you noticed? You know what I mean? What is it? Sitting by the morning sun. I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching those ships roll in. Then I'll watch 'em roll away again. Yeah, I'm just a sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Okay, my delicious babies, it seems to myself, once again, let's get back to the matter in hand, that there seems to be more than ones will ever realise who are manning up. I'll repeat that again. Okay. Now, I do get it. One's, you know, they want something that we are to believe in, so I get it. So I'm not saying this to be hurtful, offensive, or to upset anybody. Everybody has their own religions. But let me get back. Sorry, I need to rewind to what I was saying. When I was about 8 or 9, my delicious little babies, can you see how much I've just said just in that short space of time, my delicious little babies, okay? I remember with my hands on my hip, and I looked at where we were living when I was little. My delicious babies, it's not there anymore. Okay, it's gone long time. I don't know, probably a couple of decades ago now. Okay, my delicious babies, longer than that, probably. And I always remember looking up, and even as young as what I was, okay, a young wee lass, little Ben, and I remember saying to myself, very quietly, just you probably heard me speak a little bit, and I was doing it on my own. And I looked up because we were living in flats then. I'm going back many decades ago because I'm 51 now. Like I said, I'm going back decades. And I remember looking up and I said, one day I'm going to buy my own flat. Yes, my delicious babies. And when I was 23, there we are, I bought my own flat. Okay, my delicious babies. So I do believe, there we are, that you can. I know that this is a bit of a, let's just say, a tricky topic, okay, my delicious little babies, okay? But, one say, oh, manifesting doesn't work. Some will agree with this and some will not. But for myself, if you wanted something, there we are, so much, there we are, believe, there we are, and you will achieve. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Okay, so that's how I've lived my life. So I sort of go from rags to riches, then back again, then to planet flipping nanu, then flipping back down again, up, down, and around a flipping bend. My life has been, there we are, like a flipping roller coaster, the fairground on the way. Okay, my delicious little babies, Japan. Or don't push too far, your dreams are China in your hand. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, so yeah, there's a lot who are, let's just say, I look at, like I said, different videos and then I decide what I'm going to choose, my delicious little babies. So I've got another 2 today. And believe it or not, I may look at some more of these videos, my delicious little babies. Okay, I've looked at a couple of the one, but I've only looked at one of the other. Okay, my delicious little babies. I'll have a look at a few more. Okay, my delicious little babies. They might be on my list. You never know. To advertise them again. Oh, and one thing I am pleased to see. Our lovely, not in that way, our lovely Gary Waterman, Gary Space Waterman on YouTube, my delicious little babies. Thank goodness now his numbers, there we are starting to go up. There we are, finally. Okay, my delicious little babies. And, oh, bless. I heard on one of his videos, bless you, dear Gary, bless your dear heart. Not in that way. But I think I feel he's not with his wife anymore, my delicious little babies at the moment. But can you see what this does? There we are, on a serious note, my delicious little babies. I mean, say if you're a whistleblower or say if, do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, what happens is it bloody damn well affects everything. There we are, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? So if you're in a relationship, the only way that you're going to be able to hold it together now by nuts and bolts, you know what I mean, is that you've got to be super duper strong together. So even if, like, say, one just sits in the background, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean, while the other one's doing what they've got to do. Do you understand there we are. Do you see what I'm saying, my delicious little babies? Yes, okay. But sometimes it has to, there we are, go that way. Do you see what I mean? It's like I've said before, I'm a bit like Nanny McPhee. When you want me, I'm not there. And then when you don't want me, I'm there. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Okay, but I felt really sorry when I heard about poor Gary Waterman. I mean, come on. I wish that his wife, I call him wife, wife wife. I wish that, that she'd understand, remember there we are when she took her vows. You know what I mean? What do they say? In sickness and in health. Oh, do you remember that comedy, In Sickness and in Health, Martin? Babies. There was parts of that that were flipping hilarious. Would make the flipping cat laugh, you know what I mean? Martin Baby's cat. But on a serious note, I mean, what is it? For richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, till death us do part. Wasn't there In Excess who sang, was it Till Death Us Do Part? Or something like that. There we are, Martin. But just come back to me. He was with Paulie Yates for a time, wasn't he, my delicious little babies? Because she passed away not long after the In Excess. What was his name? Do forgive me. Michael Hutchins, wasn't it? My delicious little babies. Anyway, she had a little daughter, a little baby by him called, what was the name? Tiger Lily. And then Bob Geldof, the one with Oxfam. There we are, my delicious little babies. Do you remember all around that time? Excuse me, my delicious little babies. Do you remember that? Anyway, he brought her up. Okay, my delicious little babies, because Paulie Yates clearly slightly stumbled there. Didn't appear to be very well. Did she, my delicious little babies, anyway? So now then, but but I will say this: he did bring. There we are, little Tiger Lily up. There we are, very well. So considering he was not her real dad, and I will say that because I was brought up with my dad myself, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? It is a hard job, and especially when you've got all girls and everything. Daughters. You know what I mean? My delicious little babies. Anyway, just rambled on a bit, haven't I? Now then, but of course, Paula, she clearly could not help being poorly, but she was extremely depressed when she lost her the love of her life, it seemed. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, so these two here, now with any videos, when I advertise them, it's all about getting information. But I'm going to say this, I haven't said it for a long time. It's a case of taking ham and pieces, bits and pieces, taking bits and pieces out of the videos, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Okay. So, should please and thank you. Anybody have any form of an interest? Now then, first one. So this one here, my delicious little babies, this is just over 9 minutes long, okay? And the uploader is called, in the order, space bar in old YouTube, my delicious little babies, capital L, laugh, space, capital R, in, capital T, the, then capitals UK, then space capital T today. So it should read laugh in the UK today. Okay, my delicious little babies. The video should read the title Britain Changed. Yes, my delicious little babies. And we didn't choose it. Absolutely banging correct, sir. Banging correct to you, my little lovely. Not in that way, not in that way. The uploader. Laugh in the UK today. Really good little video, my delicious little babies, and he just explains, like everything from the VHS I was talking about the other day to the VHS to everything, to a Woolworths where you'd have a little bag, paper bag, get your pick and mix, and you know what I mean, HMV, my delicious little babies. He just talks about little things, but it was, there we are, it came up on the feed. I did send him a comment, bless, to say thank you, bright blessings to you. Came up on my feed, and I will advertise you today, and that is what I am doing. Okay, and it was most pleasant. He replied. You know what I mean? So there we are. So therefore, uh, the way I see it is, there we are, my job's done. Okay, my delicious little baby, so blessed, but a really good little video. He happens to have 9.33 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies. And when I was listening to it, I thought this is all about, there we are, going back in time. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes, okay. And then it's sort of, you go to different parts of your life. There we are, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? And, you may not have a lot, but you know what I mean? You have what you had at that time. There we are. I went all cold across my shoulders, yet I'm warm, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean, okay? So for myself, there's some in the world, they just chase. The ka-ching, 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 the change, pound, shilling, pence, dollars and change. But when you really look back, there we are, everything. That was everything, there we are, and more that you could have. And there were a lot of families and neighbours and communities and areas, they'd help, there we are, one another. They'd look out, there we are, for one another. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? How things change. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, Kai? So, I'm blessed where I am, you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, because everybody knows my gob, you know what I mean? So they know where, when I'm around. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, Kai? But when you really truly look, your heart to heart, and you look at everything, there we are, that you had, it may not have been a lot, but it was everything. You see, and that's what these and the putrid little lackeys, we all want to take away from us, my delicious little babies, okay? It's just not going to happen from what I'm seeing on, there we are, different videos. And I'm seeing it more and more and more and more. There we are, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? The only thing is, I just, that doesn't mean no. It's just I'm advertising certain. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, the final video that I have for today happens to have 3.99 thousand subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? And the uploader is called capital C, Cozzy. So it's C. No, it's not the swimsuit, my delicious little babies, okay? Oh, mind you, I did see the other day, who is it? What's her name? Out of Baywatch, you know, Pamela Anderson. She's seeing another fella now. You'll know who he is, my delicious little baby, sorry. What is it now? I forgot what I've seen now. It came up on my feed, but anyway, I just put do not recommend. Anyway, she's seeing, I think he's older than her, but apparently he cannot keep he cannot keep up with her in the sack. My delicious babies, it's just a figure of speech, you know what I mean? She's wearing him out. It's all right because it's just laughing then when I just said that he's doing his cooking. Okay, my delicious babies, okay, she just cannot keep up with him. I mean, he cannot keep up with her, sorry. You know what I mean? Okay? Well, as long as they're having a rumble in the jungle, what harm is it, my delicious babies? The question is, does everybody really need to know about it? And the answer to that is no, my delicious babies. I'm pretty sure it'd piss somebody well off, you know, if they're flipping listening to that video, you know what I mean? And they're probably on their own somewhere. They're probably thinking, well, I'm not flipping effing getting nothing. Do you know what I mean, Marge? She's like babies. But if she's wearing him out, fair play. Do you know what I mean? As long as he doesn't have a... I don't mean he's in an to wear, by the way, Marge, she's like babies. It's just what's on me. As long as he doesn't have any heart problems, you know what I mean? Because otherwise, you know, they may be in a bit of a compromising situation. You know, it wouldn't be very nice for the ambulance to turn up if he's right on top of her. My delicious little baby. So I do not mean that nastily now. You know what I mean? My delicious little babies. Anyway, I just thought to mention it, but I did put do not recommend, so I never even clicked on it, my delicious little baby. So it's just reminded me of that. Mind you, you probably need to go back to the years of the Baywatch days. Baywatch days, my delicious little baby. Sorry, yeah, stumbled slightly then, didn't I? She was with a rocker, wasn't she? On a serious note. I don't know how she contracted it, but it was some form of hepatitis, wasn't it, my delicious little baby's kind? I'm being very serious there because, you know, that's not a very nice thing to have. Is it, my delicious little babies? But of course, once it's been injected in one's system, shall we say, my delicious little babies, do you understand what I mean? Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes. So I'm not saying that to depress, to offend or hurt anybody, okay? So it's just made me say all this, okay? Yeah, Cozzy. And this video, getting back to the video now, the matter in hand. Yeah, and I sent Cozzy a message as well, a comment as well, my delicious little babies. And bless his dear little soul, he replied and he put thank you. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? So it's so lovely, you know, so thank them for thanking me, you know, at the end of the day. But the fact of the matter is, there we are. If I feel that these videos that I'm advertising are for, there we are, a reason, do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, then I will gladly advertise. I'll do it as a hobby, like I've always said. So this video should read with Cozzy, Cozzzy. Okay, my delicious little baby, Cozzy. Now, I've looked at a couple of his videos actually, yeah. What I like about Cozzy, and like I said, not in that way with anybody, is to the fact that it's the way he comes across, there we are, to mankind when he's out and about, there we are, walking. From what I can see of him, there we are, my delicious little babies, okay? Fair play to him. You know what I mean? Because he's clearly had a few, there we are, difficult times himself, my delicious little babies. But from what I can see of him, and bless these dear souls, bless anybody who I've ever advertised from when I started. Okay, my delicious little babies, bless each and every one of you, how I love you all so, okay? Not in that way, okay? Well, there probably would have been one who I thought, think is delicious, you know what I mean? But other than that, nobody else. Okay, my delicious little babies anyway. So, not meaning that nasty or anything, okay? I'm just saying, right? But the way he comes across, he's got a really, really good way, there we are, of the way he comes across, my delicious little babies. Do you understand what I mean? And he can relate to there we are, to mankind. So it seems to myself that there's going to be a lot more who are just going to be looking to all different uploaders, not the box in the corner of the room, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Because what ones want, first of all, is the truth. There we are. First and foremost, the truth. They also want, they're loyal. Do you understand what I mean, okay? Who are going to be loyal to them, whether it be with comments or... Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, I know what I'm talking about, okay? And what I feel that ones, would also want is, bless them, if they're trying the best to make a business of this, for their numbers to rise, you know what I mean, okay? So, you've got a few reasons there we are there anyway, do you know what I mean, okay? But I'm quite happy to do that. It doesn't bother myself, you know what I mean? There we are, I'm quite happy to help others who, there we are, I feel I can help, just by, there we are, just by advertising my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? But you should see the comments. They're lovely comments, There we are, really lovely. And I feel that the reason why as well is because he's very, there we are, down to earth. He's only younger, bless him, but he's down to earth. But I always find the ones who have gone through a very hard time, there we are usually really banging ones. There we are, to listen to my delicious little babies. I mean, please do not get me wrong. You do get millions in the world where they've had hard times, my delicious little babies, and they've had good times. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies. But what's the point I'm making is that some, it's like things now, they'll do something, they'll bullshit, they'll propaganda, there we are, and the numbers just go boom, 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 boom. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? And somebody who's telling the damn truth to the best of their ability, they're talking from the heart, right? Well, they do not really get a look in. But it's those very ones, there we are, my delicious babies, there we are, that ones can learn, there we are, a lot from. We are, my delicious babies. Like I said, any videos that I advertise, it's a case of taking bits and pieces out of it. Do you know what I mean? Okay, that ones would feel is relevant to maybe their situation or somebody else who they may know or something like this now then. Do you see what I mean? There we are. I know what I'm talking about, my delicious babies now then. So this video should read, street farts in Ashton. Broken Britain exposed. Is it too late for Crackton or Britain? Okay, my delicious little babies. So I'm just going to repeat that again for you. Street fart in Ashton. Broken Britain exposed. Is it too late for Crackton or Britain? Okay, my delicious little babies. And like I said, it's about just over 24 and a half minutes long, my delicious little babies. Now then, as regards to this business of farting, well, what it was, you got your man there on a bench, bless him, okay? And your other man went up there and give him one whoop, you know what I mean? One slap. Well, there's no need for that. And even Cosy, okay, Martin, he said, hey, stop that, and others said the same, okay? But you're in a broken situation when you look at a lot of the town centres. Who brought the drugs in? There we are, my delicious little babies. If you go back and there we are, take a very good look at who brought the drugs in. There we are, my delicious little babies, okay? Because bless the beautiful dear little souls, you've got so many, there we are, where they're totally lost. Bless their beautiful little souls. Yeah, I did have every reason to stumble there. They're going through something, my delicious little babies, okay? But not all of them, out of millions, have that shall we say, that confidence in themselves to maybe do videos themselves. I'm not saying that some haven't, and they probably, bless their dear little souls, got themselves off the street, you know what I mean? But, there's many, there we are, who sit in silence. I just think it's so very, very, very sad, my delicious little babies. I really, well and truly do. But Cozzy, he makes his rounds, bless him. Okay, my delicious little babies, from what I can see, okay? But may all of the numbers go up and may they prosper. Gary Waterman did a video the other day, my delicious little babies, bless his dear little soul. I hope that his wife goes back to him, because, okay, it's going to be, there we are, rocky, but I hope that she goes back to him, you know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure he could really do, there we are, with his wife, his with support. Do you know what I mean? My delicious little babies, anyway. That's just my thoughts, anyway, okay? You never know. Wishes do come true. And she may, there we are, see that Gary, there we are, he's doing his best to do a good job to give out information. Like I said before, his numbers, there we are, should be way higher. But this casted my nozzle back, sorry, see, stumbling again, back to, was it about five year ago, something like that, over or something like that. And there was another king. Now, around that time, there was a man called, he's like one of these presenters, okay, called, what's his name? Tony Robinson, is it? Please don't quote me. And he went all the way over to Australia and he met this man, oh, bless his dear little soul, he's passed away now, called Michael Hastings. Okay, my delicious babies, I'm pretty sure. Where was he brought up with his family? In Leicester. Anyway, he moved over to Australia, many decades ago, my delicious babies. And so there was this talk that he was the king, but then going back to our dear Charlie Ward, and I hope that dear Charlie Ward, his dear little family, oh, bless them, not in that way, that they're all super duper well, okay? Well, Charlie Ward, they had another one on, and dear David G. Mahoney as well, bless him. Well, yeah, and with anybody, like I said, not in that way. And they had another king on who was supposed to be the king. And then it turned out that he wasn't the real king either, my delicious little babies. So after listening to this, I'm not saying that not at all, and even dear Gary himself said on the video, my delicious little babies, he said this could either be real. He did say that, so fair play to him. He said it could either be real or it could be that this woman, what's her name, Vanessa, that she's been positioned, okay, my delicious little babies, okay, but nevertheless, his videos are banging. There we are. He gives out a lot of excellent information, my delicious little babies, okay. So as he's advertising, there we are, companies are being dissolved. I said that the other day, okay. And there's a lot of flipping companies. It's colossal, this is, my delicious little babies, okay. It's like they set up shop and then the close shop. That's, my word in my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? But it's as they're being exposed. There we are. Do you know what I mean? My delicious little babies. So when I heard about this situation, I'm not too sure. That's my thoughts on it, my delicious little babies, Kai. I'm not too sure at all. I'm not saying, whether it is, I'm just saying it's like, it's like we've heard there we are, these things before now. Okay, my delicious little babies, but bless dear Gary. But please, if you could go onto his channel, Gary Space Waterman, capital G, capital W, on YouTube, my delicious little babies. Please and thank you, because there we are, because you will be absolutely blown away by, there we are, by the information. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, and finally, so thank you as well for any views, for any likes, or for the occasional comments, my delicious little babies, okay, and how I love you all so. Thank you to each and every one of you. How I love you all so once again. Yeah, so I've been hearing about this now for days and days and days and days. What is it? Chucky Chucky, Choo Choo, Chippy Monkey, Chipmunk Choo Choo. this is the latest coming out of China, my delicious little babies. So what they're trying to do, the second time around. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Okay. So they're trying to do another, there we are, lockdown. And they're trying to scare everybody with the Chucky Chucky Choo Choo, Chipmunk Chipmunk Choo Choo. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? Some would say that I'm taking the complete effing pee now then. There we are, my delicious little babies. Well, yes, I am. Because these names that they make up now then, okay? It's you know, I just make my own words up. You know what I mean? My delicious little babies, okay? But it's along the Chucky Chucky line. Okay, my delicious little babies. So as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't believe bullshit, my delicious little babies. I wouldn't believe one word what comes out of China or the box in the corner of the room. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Okay, because it's getting that ridiculous. How can nobody, for the ones who believe in it and bless them, still wear the muzzles? Very sadly to say, because they've been that traumatised, and that is so very sad. Okay, but how they can believe this bullshit with what's coming out, my delicious little babies? I've just no idea. I mean, all of the different words that they're using, that should be enough for anybody. Well, I'm not talking to ones who already know my delicious babies. I'm talking about our delicious babies who are not aware. How they cannot know with the silliness now and the silly words, it is just beyond me, my delicious babies. But what can you do? Some are, there we are, very sadly past the point of no return. We cannot help them. But for the rest of us, you know, we can, you know, not, I don't mean in a violent way or physically, we can stand, there we are, up for ourselves. Do you understand what I mean? And just say no to the bullshit. Just do not believe a word of it. I'm not talking to any of our delicious little babies who already know this. It's our delicious little babies, if anybody does get to see my channel, because like I said, they're doing their best. So that really nobody sees my channel, my delicious little babies. Okay, please just do not believe bullshit, and whoever you meet, please tell them just not to believe bullshit, my delicious little babies. You know what I mean? Anyway, so until my next video, sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. May your beautiful little selves, your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected, and please continue to good vibrations. Okay, my delicious babies. Oh, one last thing. I'm so super duper and deliciously pleased that our lovely The Space David Space Nat Space Show. Okay, my delicious babies. You know, so it's capital T, capital D, capital K, and capital S. On Odyssey, or you can also find them on Rumble, my delicious babies. And not in that way, not in that way. Oh, I'm so super duper pleased. There we are. He's getting better. Isn't that, there we are, wonderful and delicious news. Oh, good on you, dear David Nat, bless you. Wonderful, dear gentlemen. You'd love their videos, my delicious little babies, okay? They are just over 3 hours long, okay? But they cover a lot of information now, okay, my delicious little babies? Oh, but good on you, dear David. You know, for getting better, bless you. You know what I mean? So, you know, when everybody puts heartfelt, you know, energy, there we are. It does work, my delicious little babies. Do you understand what I mean, okay? So until my next video, you just take care. How I love you all so once again. And thank you once again for listening, because I am very trying sometimes, my delicious little babies. However, I do mean well. So love you. Take care. Thank you. Goodbye.